Hi, Inglewood Church of the Nazarene. It sounds like y'all have a lot of big decisions to make in the next couple weeks, and I wanted to see if I could provide some guidance. My name's Andrew Bradley. I'm with Vision Realty Partners, and our company was founded by two Nazarene people um, 4 years ago. I've been a realtor for 10 years, and I'm currently working with a Bellevue Cumberland Presbyterian Church and a congregation in South Nashville. Our company has sold 12 commercial, or I should say church, but partially commercial zoned properties in its short 4 years, and this is what we specialize in. So I just wanted to give you analysis of where I feel like you guys are with each property you have there and help y'all move forward. So let's get started. Now this is what we call the subject property. It just means that we're going to use this as our measuring stick as we break down the other comparable sales in Inglewood. So this is your property here at 1103 Sunnymeade Drive. It's called the Sunnymeade neighborhood. Now we have cast our net a little wider than that to include a lot of Inglewood. This is the square footage, 1468. That becomes the number that we multiply by as I start talking about square footage, price per square foot, and you don't have to worry about that math. I'll take care of that as we go. So originally we had 140 something properties that were similar in size and location, and I have picked through those and narrowed them down to 10 properties. Now for an appraisal or for comparable analysis, which is what I'm doing right here, we need the three most liked properties. So you can see here that I've checked these three properties as the most liked properties, and I can just kind of show you real briefly why that is. So this one is one that would be in our top 10. Pretty similar, but it doesn't have kind of the historic character that you have in your house, and it has 350 square feet in the basement, which is gonna really mess up our numbers because that's going to be valued at a lot less. So properties like that are very close, but they don't make the cut in the end. So what I'm going to do real quickly is I'm going to hover over these checked properties, the ones that are closest to you, being like your property. And in the same condition and everything. So this one right here sold for 130 a square foot, 146 a square foot, and then 132 a square foot. So if we pull that as an average, you'll see the average price per square foot is right around 132. I'm sorry, the average is 136. The median is 132. Now we don't use averages in real estate to do the analysis. We usually need to default to our most similar properties. So even though those are our closest properties that an appraiser is likely going to pick, I then go through them and I decide which ones are most similar. So I feel pretty strongly about this one. That's a very solid number. This one, on the other hand, it's taken up a few steps in terms of condition. It's a little nicer than the property as it sits right now. So that one is selling for more per square foot, but it's not very hard to figure out why it's been remodeled. And then this one right here, which I feel like is also a pretty solid comp in that it hasn't been taken quite to the next level. Now you can't see inside pictures on this one, but that's usually a sign that it still has a lot of outdated stuff. Now if I were to consider all the properties in Inglewood, the price per square foot could go up to 160, 170,000. I mean 160, 170 a foot. However, those properties have granite countertops and all new plumbing and electrical. In some markets, I would tell you guys, hey, let's get all this done. I know money's tight right now, and we'll make a better investment by doing the work. In this market, there's not a good return on the investment for major system changes and upgrades. Most buyers at this time are willing to do that stuff themselves with a very little return in order just to own or occupy a property. This is most likely not going to sell to an investor. I know a lot of folks see this as a property that could be flipped There's not enough margin here. We're really hoping that that's not what it comes down to. We're going to get an owner-occupant who's going to do the work themselves or hire it out or buy it on a construction loan or what's called a 203K, which is an FHA loan that allows you to do some work to the house. So that's what we're aiming for in order to get top value. So what does that mean for Inglewood Church of the Nazarene and this property here? We're going to go over a couple things that we need to be aware of, and that's the objective measurable factors. A lot of people say, well, it's really close to this, it's really close to that. An appraiser can't take that into account. These are the things that the appraiser is going to take into account: square footage of the property, past sales, condition of the property, updates completed, basement square footage. In this case, I've eliminated that by only using comparables that had similar square footage, and garage space. Again, I've also eliminated that. So everything we have, I've got about 2.5 hours in thumbing through 143 listings that have sold this year. So we have taken care of that and made sure that we have all objectively measurable comparable sales. Now we're going to look at the things that are subjective. Now what these do is they bring attention to the property, they bring buyers. It may even bring more money in the sense that we'll have more competition to buy the property. However, the appraiser is not going to make an adjustment for this. So I have a few things like outbuildings, new home competition. An outbuilding in good shape is going to add a lot of value. Now y'all have an outbuilding on the property now that I think you guys should keep if you need the storage at all. So what I'm asking you to do on that one is go ahead and move it off the property before we list. Once it's on the property, you're going to start getting offers and they're going to start asking for that building and be very disappointed if that doesn't come along with it. So let's go ahead and get that moved as quickly as possible and go from there. We won't worry about these other ones too much. Size of yard and lot. Currently, it looks like it has been traded. This property has been bought and sold with the lot. I'm working with Andy to try to separate that. It's not going to have to go through zoning. It's just a matter of getting the bank or any loans against either one of those pieces to allow us to separate that. But you guys don't need to worry about that. I've got a lawyer who's working on that right now. And if you have any questions about that, I'll be glad to answer them. But it's not as complicated as it sounds. So first of all, what we want to do is take those numbers that I worked on and look at reality. Now, I know that you saw that some of the sales prices were over 130 a foot. We had one at 146 and another one at 142 for 146 and 132 for our most comparable sale. And like I said, we're not going to use averages. So when I look at the appraiser is going to take their top or the most like 3. But when I look at what people are willing to pay on the market, I have to look at it from a buyer's perspective. And I do think that it's my job to let you know that the most comparable sale is actually closest to 130 a square foot, which would put you at about $190 a foot. I mean, $190,000. So that is my most realistic sales price. It could go a little below that. It could go a little above that, but that's, I think, where we're going to land. Now, on the other hand, my job is to make sure you make the most money possible so that your ministry is strengthened by the money you walk away with from this deal with. So that's where we go. It's called Fantasyland. Now, Fantasyland is what we call our best case appraisal. So if I handpick the comps that I like, that I would love for them to compare your house to, I think we could go even up to 150. Of course, that would require us dropping out the 130, the 132, and it would be based on a wider range of comparables. So that is absolutely best case scenario. I don't think it can get any better than that. But let's just say it does. So that would put us at 220,000. Now, I don't think that's realistic. I think that would be very frustrating for you guys. I think it would be frustrating for buyers coming to look at the property. But most importantly is overpricing a house actually can make you make less money in the long run. What we're trying to do is position the house in a way that will get multiple offers. So what is that magic number? I'm suggesting that we market the property at 209,000. Now, real quickly, we're going to know that we have overpriced the house. if we don't get offers in the first, say, 2 weeks. And then, excuse me, my phone's beeping. And then we'll need to start making price changes. There's no point in waiting to make those price changes. Just like I said a second ago, where overpricing the house can hurt the sale. Sitting at a high price will make the property called what's shop worn. It's where you go into, say, a store and you see something, you really like it, but it's overpriced, and so you begin to convince yourself why that product is not right for you. And then when the price goes down, you've already created the objections in your head. So you've got to be careful with keeping it at a high price for too long. So I want to try to get you an extra 20,000 above the comparables, but I do think we need to be realistic if we don't get offers real quickly. So that is the analysis on the land. I mean, on the house. I'm going to start on the analysis on the land now, and I will get that sent over to you guys. Thanks.